when I start thinking about the future, I see two futures. One where everything goes to shit because World War III and we all get nuked, or one where Elon takes off and we get to Mars. And I like to think that we get to Mars, and if that's the case, 100% they'll be using Bitcoin on Mars. What else are they going to use? They're not going to use anything else. Welcome everybody to the Why Bitcoin podcast, where we question everything, but mainly why Bitcoin. I'm here with you. My name is Jeff, and I hate altcoins.
My name is Doug, and I'm also here with you, and I like polar bears.
Okay, so I wanted a fun fact so that we can get a little bit more in touch with everybody, all our listeners. And I thought you were going to go somewhere with a fun little crypto and or Bitcoin fact, and it turns out it's about polar bears. Maybe polar bears affect Bitcoin. So, does that have anything to do with Bitcoin at all, or are you just being an ass?
I'm just being an ass. And I'm not even sorry. I'm not even sorry.
All right, that's fine. You just don't like playing my game. You just... Here, I've got all these good ideas.
You listen, chat. He just came up with this idea like 10 minutes ago, and he just expects me... He's had a whole week to think about this stuff, and he just springs it on me. And I'm supposed to come up... I froze, man. I froze, okay? You got to forgive me here.
It's tough to think about things about yourself when you put on the spot. I understand.
Yeah.
I
just want to talk about Bitcoin, man. I don't want to talk about me. I'm boring.
Okay, well, let's talk about where you people can find us. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify and anywhere you can find your podcasts. Where else are we, Doug?
Well, we're on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter at @whybitcoin_. And, of course, you can find us on the podcast, which will be down in the comments below.
And we also have a Discord you can join if you want to do that. And always feel free to reach out to us in our email, which is askwhybitcoin@gmail.com. Awesome.
Right.
We want everybody to know that this podcast is brought to you by just two dudes. And these are two dudes that you shouldn't listen to for financial advice. None of anything we say here is financial advice. We're just two dudes. Make sure you do your own research. Do as much research as possible. Do not listen to us for financial advice.
Please don't. Do us all a favor.
Stop. Okay, intro went really well. I feel like that was smooth. I liked it.
Yes, super smooth.
Nice.
Should we do it again?
No, we're going to keep rolling.
All right.
Awesome.
Sorry, fam. That's you get one take. That's all you get.
One take, yeah. I mean, we had 4 tries at it last week. This one we're going first try. It's going to be the best one.
Yeah,
ever.
right out of the gate. I love it. Awesome.
Oh, hey, we didn't even say this is episode 7. 7 is a big...
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty wild,
7?
man.
It's not like as many as Joe Rogan, but 7 is respectable. Like, legitimately, I've seen podcasts where they have 3, and that's it. They stopped at 3. So,
sure.
You know what? We're ahead of those guys, whoever they are. I might have made that up. I don't know. But anyways.
Hey, if you're listening to this and you've listened to all 7 episodes, we appreciate you. Let us know if you're a top tier listener. If you've heard all 7, that would be super
top
cool.
Tier listener. I like that.
I
like that.
Well, I mean, I started listening to a podcast today, and they're like, hey, you should listen to the first 4 episodes of this first. So then I stopped, and I listened to the first one, and yes, it was well worth it. So you don't know what gems you don't know what gems you're missing out on if you don't listen to all of it. Listen to all.
That's true. And I have to say, I feel like we're getting better with each one, but we you got to watch that progression, It's it's important to see that. So yeah, I'm with you. Go back to the first one, guys.
Do it. Okay, I have a comment for this week. It's a good comment. We got a comment on our YouTube. I think
we got several comments.
We got a few comments. If you're the commenter, I forgot the guy's name. I should really know it, shouldn't I?
Do you want me to look it up real fast while you're doing this?
Yeah, you look it up. I'll read the comment out. So, guys, commenter says, things have been feeling very 1984 lately. Also, I don't know if Bitcoin is the answer, but honestly, what else could it be? We will be going crypto, something similar eventually. That much I can see. What are your guys' thoughts on Bitcoin? Do you suppose it will ever be that ever elusive one world currency? Personally, I would have Personally, I think it would have to be, especially if it's expected to work. Maybe not, though. I'm really not a bigger picture kind of guy. Okay, first off, shout out to 1984. Literally, I think I'll put it in my top three books, but it might be my number one favorite book of all time. I
Really?
had to, yeah, I had to read it in high school, and
Yeah.
I had never, like, thinking back, I don't think I ever read another book before. And I remember reading the first part and the second part. I was like, this is kind of weird. And then I opened the third part, and I was sitting in my bed, and I read the entirety of the third part in one sitting, just like fingers white knuckled, holding the book, like, oh my God, this is
Oh
insane.
wow, really?
Oh, it's such a good book. If you haven't read, I'm going to assume you've read 1984.
I've read it several times actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Big George Orwell fan. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. So bad news is I could not find. I don't. I'm at a different computer. All of my Y Bitcoin stuff is all on other computers. So I feel like we should probably find his name, and we'll have
okay,
to
I'm gonna
thank him
find
in
it.
the
I'm gonna
credits or
find
something.
it.
But
Here, I'll
you
find
find
it.
it.
So you try and answer the question. Do you think that Bitcoin's going to be the world currency?
No, I don't actually. If you put a gun to my head and you ask me this question, do you think everyone's going to accept Bitcoin? No, I think there are going to be some people, especially some organizations, that they're going to try very hard to cultivate their own version of a Bitcoin-like substance. Let's call it. But it will not be designed with the same impetus in mind. It will not be designed to solve the problems that Bitcoin was designed to solve. I was actually talking with my pops this morning about this, and one of the interesting things to me as I've grown in my understanding of Bitcoin is the idea that somebody sat down, or a group of people, let's say, I'm not sure, we're not sure, they sat down and they looked at the world and they said, here are problems we see. How could we fix them? And then they went about trying to fix them. And I find that to be really inspiring from a lot of different standpoints. But the biggest one probably is the fact that most people look at the world and they bitch about it, right? And these
Yes.
guys, they said we can do more than just bitch about this, and they said we can try to fix this. And if if you were an organization that was causing the problems that Satoshi was trying to solve, then you're not going to like Bitcoin, and you don't care how popular it gets. It's literally designed to foil you, to make you impotent, as it were. So they're going to try to come up with something else, and that's that's my take on it. I don't think it's going to be worldwide. I think there's going to be a lot of people who do business in it, but it will never be accepted as a currency in the way that like the U.S. dollar became the standard. You know what I mean? I think it'll be an alternate currency that will be very popular and lots of people will use it, but I do think it will not be adopted officially worldwide.
Okay, I 100% disagree with you.
You
You
do,
literally,
really?
yeah, you made the exact point for why it will be the world currency, and then, like, you hit all the points for they found what was wrong with the world, and then they fixed it, and this is a sound money that can't be messed with, and it's the only way money. They took what money should be, and then they
Right.
made that.
I
And
agree.
it's perfect. It's perfect in what it is. There's nothing can beat it. No other crypto can beat it. It solved the problem that needed to be solved. It's already getting adopted world. It already is worldwide. First off, it already is the standard for a big group of people. And when I start, okay, to like when I start thinking about the future, I see two futures. One where everything goes to shit because World War III and we all get nuked, or one where Elon takes off and we get to Mars. And I like to think that we get to Mars, and if that's the case, 100% they'll be using Bitcoin on Mars. What else are they going to use? They're not going to use anything else.
He asked worldwide. He didn't ask solar system wide, okay? You're expanding the scope of the question. That's not fair. You can't shit on my answer just because you decided to make the answer a bigger question. You nut.
What? So, Well, obviously, if it's solar system wide, then it's going to be worldwide. Would you change your answer if we were going to space?
Well, yeah, because that's a different thing. If the question was, do you think Bitcoin will be the coin or the currency of choice on Mars? Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
Okay.
But
Okay. So
if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna tell me that the likes of Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell are going to somehow just say, you know what, the U.S. dollar's gone and we're all just going to use Bitcoin, I'm going to tell you you're insane, because that's not going to happen.
no,
These
obviously
people.
they're not.
That was my point. That was the entire point of my argument. The
Okay,
entire
but
point of my argument was the powers that be don't want it to be a universal currency. They want their own version. So officially, no, it is not going to be a world currency.
okay.
Unofficially, yes. I think everybody who's anybody with any sort of, I don't know, minor mathematical skills will look at what's happening to fiat currency and go, I better find something that keeps value, you know? So yeah, I think Bitcoin will be the thing.
JPOW and Janet only have power because they control the money. The more and more people adopt Bitcoin, the more and more, or the less and less power they have, where eventually their power leads to zero. So it doesn't matter what their thoughts are. People only care about what they say right now because they control the money, so they can control the power. Once they don't control the money anymore, they have no power. It doesn't matter what they say.
I mean, you can't just there will always be someone like them is my point. There's
Yeah,
always
but they'll be
somebody out there
Bitcoiners.
who's what's that?
But they'll be Bitcoiners.
No, Bitcoiners by default, Bitcoiners are not going to be able to game the system, and therefore anybody who wants power will not want Bitcoin to be the thing. How do you game Bitcoin? You know,
Exactly. You
I
can't.
understand how you game a dollar, whether it's a peso or a dollar or a pound, whatever. I understand how you game that system, and that's why it's popular with those in power. But you know, the
Okay.
maybe we're talking at
The,
cross purposes. I'm not sure, but
it
I think
seems like
there's a
you're just
difference between will it be maybe I'm splitting hairs, fine, but I think there's a big difference between will this be the people's currency versus will this be like the dollar where everybody, all the nations utilize it and all the nations rely on it. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the first one is accurate. I think the second one is not accurate.
okay. Well, just if you go back more than like 50 years, the whole world was using gold as a currency, and gold is no longer the currency of the world, and something needs to take its place. And once the dollar collapses, Bitcoin takes that place. So
Okay,
that's what
so
I
but
think.
that's still not currency though.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. Do you suppose now listen. Did you find his name by the way?
Oh yes, a man or woman by the name Plagued Story. What a beautiful name!
Plague
I thought that
Story.
was-
Plague Story. That's what it was. So Plagued. Hi Plagued. How you doing? Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. We're just assuming. I'm sorry. I'm going to assume Plagued is a guy. I don't know why. I do know why, because our last episode had like 100% male listenership.
There you go.
So no, actually, the episode he was talking about was 100%. Last week was actually we had some females, so that's cool. Hi, ladies. Anyways, he says, "Do you suppose it will be that ever elusive one world currency?" And I read that to mean like the kind of like how the euro is to Europe, right? Like they still have British pounds and liras from Greece and stuff like that, but like everybody uses the euro, right? I think that's how I read the question. Do I think that Bitcoin will be the universal currency that like is the official currency of the world? No, that I do not agree with. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We've
And
beat
that
the
I
hell
do
out of this
agree with.
question.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
do.
Short answer, I say yes, you say no.
All right, fine.
Right?
There you go.
Short answer, yes and no. So, Plague Story, hopefully that helps you there. You either side with me or you side with Doug, and there's one right answer, one wrong
There will
answer.
be
But
one
only
right
time will
answer and
tell.
one. Right, it's true. It's true. So,
Only time will tell. So we'll
Yep.
see. Okay. Today's question of the day of us two dudes just talking the question of the day, which we've wanted to talk about for a little while now, is hey, what about if the government bans Bitcoin? What happens then?
I think this is a massive question. I think this is.
I
I
think
think
it's a
this is
massive question.
probably. I think this is probably a barrier to entry for a lot of people into Bitcoin. If they thought about the question just a little bit, your first question should be, well, isn't it all just made up, right? And then your next question is, well, what happens if, I lose my keys or something like that or whatever. And then your next question after that should be, well, what if the government shuts it down? Like that's
It's a
in
good
my
question
brain,
to
that's the
ask.
hierarchy of questions.
Yeah, I think looking back at myself, yeah, I definitely started saying, well, what if they make it illegal? And so I have a lot of thoughts of this on this, but I'll let you open the floor if you want.
No, no, no. I actually would like to. I would like to hear your response to it because I have to admit that I don't know as much on the topic when it comes to this kind of stuff as you do. So I am worried that they will. As a matter of fact, I was just sharing in our Discord today that the let me pull up the article here real quick. Where is it? Is that in
Yeah, I
general?
liked this
No, it's
article.
crypto news. Crypto news. Um, the IRS. Here, let me pull up the actual article. This
IRS
is in
initiates
finance.
Operation Hidden Treasure.
Yeah, IRS initiates Operation Hidden Treasure to root out unreported crypto income. So this is fraud enforcement director of the Office of Fraud. First of all, can I just caveat for 1 second?
Yeah,
You
please.
know you have a bloated government when you have an office of fraud enforcement. Like, do we not have enough offices? Do we not
They
have enough
probably just
government
made
workers?
that. They probably just made that. They just make
Probably
new
did. You're
offices.
probably right. They literally were just like, "Hey, hey, Damon, you want to be the director of an office? Sure, boss. Which office? Fraud enforcement.
You know
Sure.
what? It's frustrating because that's what happened to just jobs in general, just to go off on a little side. Like if you go to government and then you say, hey, what do you do? Somebody says, I'm director of so and so at this and this and this. And it's like once you get into a government job, like where I live in the capital of Canada. So there's a lot of government jobs here. But you talk to somebody and once you're in, you're pretty much in. But if your job gets
Right.
taken, they will
They
make
just
up new titles for you.
right. Yep. Yep.
It's
Yep. Yep.
crazy. So
Your fiat hard at work, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, just making stuff up so people
Yeah.
keep getting salaries. Okay. Uh, so yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
the IRS is looking to find your crypto. Be scared.
yeah.
Be worried. They're gonna find it. I put a big LOL.
Okay. So
LOL
so
gif.
I mean that. Oh, you were being facetious right there, were you?
What? No. Yeah, of course. They can't
Okay.
find it. It's impossible.
It's not
So
impossible.
of
They've
course
done
it
it.
is. Okay. Listen.
Okay.
If you
Tell
do
me.
everything right, they cannot find it. So here's the thing that you need to understand about Bitcoin. One, it's fully anonymous. If you're not anonymous, it's because you did it the easier way. There are exchanges you can go on where you don't have to give your name. There are wallets where you don't have to give your name. You can buy and purchase Bitcoin without ever putting in any name or account or anything ever. You can be fully anonymous. If that's the case, they can never find you. You hold on to your Bitcoin wallet. Nobody knows you have it. Nobody knows you're using it. Bitcoin can be fully anonymous. Now, in newer times with Coinbase, with Bull Bitcoin, with a lot of exchanges with Kraken, they do what's called a KYC. KYC stands for Know Your Customer, which is a legal term that they need to do in order for the government to be able to track these businesses and who their customers are. So you need to put in, you'll find when you go into one of these exchanges that you need to put in your banking information, I think, and you need to have a piece of ID. They literally make you show your ID. This is where I got nervous when I was going into big. I don't know if you felt the same way, but like I went
Yeah.
onto Coinbase and it's like, all right, show us your ID, and I was like, no. And then I did I did some research and I was like, okay, is this legit? I don't think I talked to somebody from Coinbase, but I messaged like what I do to find out answers is I go on Twitter and I just message as many people in the Bitcoin space as I can. And I got enough people saying like, yeah, it's legit. Like you have to do it. It's part of the process. So it's like,
Okay.
okay, I'm going in. And it made me very uncomfortable to put my ID in. And then later I found out, hey, you can do all this without doing this. It's just more technical. You have to know more computer stuff. You have to know who has the exchanges that are not KYC. But if you do go the KYC route, congratulations, you have a Coinbase account, or you have a Bull Bitcoin account, or you have a whatever account, whatever exchange you choose to use. If you buy Bitcoin on one of those accounts, what happens is you're holding the Bitcoin, you have two keys, a private key and a public key, and if it's not in a secured wallet, a custodial wallet, a self-custodial wallet, meaning that you own it, anybody can access it. So the government can say, hey, Coinbase, or hey, whoever, did Jeff so-and-so buy Bitcoin here? Yeah, here's the transaction right here. But as soon as, and this is why it's very important, as soon as it moves from my Coinbase account to a new wallet, so long as my new wallet is anonymous, which many more options for wallets are anonymous, exchanges are harder and harder to find, but Blue Wallet is a wallet you can download that's anonymous. Samurai Wallet, Electrum. There's 1,000 wallets you can download, and they're all no KYC, none of that stuff. You just download the app.
There's also, don't forget, cold storage too. I mean,
And there's cold storage, exactly.
yeah, the cold hard storage is just as limitless as the digital wallets.
So yeah, so with a cold storage wallet, if you move it from the exchange to your cold storage, well, you bought a cold storage wallet, and if you don't know what that is, we have an episode on it, so we won't go into it now.
and we'll cover it again in a future episode. But
Yeah, but
go ahead.
you have your money, or you have your Bitcoin on this cold storage wallet, and the government doesn't know you have that cold storage wallet, so how can they find out it's yours? And even if they bang down your door, go into your safe, break open your safe and find your cold storage little card, all you say is, I don't know the key for this. I don't know it. A classic joke you'll see in Bitcoin Twitter is, I lost it in a tragic boating incident. Have you seen any of these? It's pretty
That's
awesome.
actually that's taken from gun culture, actually.
Is
So,
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I'm not
Yeah.
part of gun culture.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, someday you can come down here. We'll go shooting.
For sure, yeah. I look forward to it. I'd be scared, but I do want to try shooting.
Most
again
people
at some
are.
point.
Most people are the first time, actually.
I think you
But
should probably be.
yeah, I mean, absolutely, you should be. If you're not, you're dumb, and you shouldn't be handling a firearm. But anyways,
Probably a psycho. So yeah, okay, so you'll see there's a lot of crossover in the Bitcoin community to people that are pro-gun, to people that are, I don't know, libertarian, as it were, or just about being in charge of yourself and taking responsibility for yourself.
that's the big thing. That's the big thing. That's the selling point right there for a
That's
lot of people.
great. Yeah, and it's super important. And what people think is, like, people have, it's so frustrating because a lot of people have been programmed to be like, well, I don't want to take care of this. I'm not responsible. And if you're not responsible for your own life, then what are you
Then
even
someone
living
else
for?
will be.
Yeah, like I just
Right.
can't. And
So here, let me before you tangent off on that, let me try to reel it back for a second because I do want to be really clear, and I am asking for myself. Hopefully, the audience has kind of formulated the same questions that I have. But you say something like, "Look, they can kick down your door, they can take your cold storage wallet, but they can't get the money." Okay, in all practicality, what's the difference then? You know what I mean? Whether they well, they take the cold. This just happened. This is something that I wish that the articles had followed up on. But I think we talked about this dude in Germany. Was it last year or 2 years ago? And the trial just went to, or no, he just got released from prison, right? And he was a scammer and he deserved to go to jail. And I'm not defending him at all, but it was an interesting study because do you know what I'm talking about?
yes, I know. what
Okay,
you're
all
talking
right.
about.
Then I'm explaining for the audience. Long story short, he was scamming people. He had created a mining program that was basically siphoning off some of the stuff that people were mining, and he was storing it in his cold storage wallet, not theirs. So the German police caught him. they actually convicted him, and he went to jail for 2 years. And for 2 years, they tried to crack the cold storage encryption, which they couldn't do. And he just said, I don't know, or he told them, I'm not going to tell you, or something, I don't know. So he did his 2 years sentence, right? And then this is my question. Now what? Okay, he had something, I think it was like $38 million on that worth of Bitcoin. Okay. But now they own the card, or they own the cold storage. So basically, whether they actually took it from him and spent it themselves, or they just took it from him, they still took it from him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay. So a few points here. I won't be able to speak on cold storage because I don't know too much about it. But as far as using phone-based wallets or things like that, what you're actually getting is a key, and a key is a string of numbers that's like, I don't know, 20 some digits long. If you can memorize that, then you can access it from anywhere. I use Blue Wallet, and I have a Blue Wallet app on my phone, and I have Bitcoin in that Blue Wallet. And so basically what you're saying is, okay, well, what happens if your phone breaks? Well, it's not actually connected to my phone. It's connected to the Bitcoin network. So if I get a new phone, I download Blue Wallet, or, and I haven't checked this out yet, or literally any other wallet app, and I put in that string of numbers and letters, the Bitcoin's still there. It's on the network. It's not actually connected to the device. The trouble with cold storage is I think it's connected to the device, but if you can manage to save that. And then this is another thing which a lot of people are doing, which I should probably be working on, but we've talked before about now they've made it so that your key, instead of it being 20 some digits of just random letters and numbers, it turns it into 16 or 24 words.
It's
and
24
all you have to do
words,
is,
yeah.
24 or 12 if on some apps it's 12. And so all you have to do is memorize those 12 words.
Me, but... Right.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's a matter of how it works, because there's also multi-sig. Have we talked about multi-sig before?
No, we have not talked about multi-sig.
Okay, so staying on topic here, as long as you know those 16 or 12 or 24 words, you can access it from anywhere. So the only problem now becomes for this guy is, okay, so the government has seized my cold storage wallet, but I know my seed phrase, so I'm going to put my seed phrase in somewhere else. The government can, at that point, watch that seed phrase move Bitcoin.
No, not watch his seed phrase. They can watch his
transaction,
his key. Right? They'll watch his public key.
Yes.
And anytime his public key pops up in the blockchain, then they'll know, okay, this blockchain, this what was it? This public key is active.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to be aware. So it does cause some problems. But that's a unique case, and I bring it up just because it was an actual case. But it is unique in the sense that this guy was a criminal. You know, he put himself on their radar, essentially. Okay? Yeah. The one thing I do know is that if you own a node, which is, I think, you can build one for stupid price. Like, you can build one from scratch, I think, for like $75. It's basically a Raspberry Pi. If you don't know what that is, that's a whole nother episode. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I've been
basically,
doing some
again,
on nodes.
for a quick recap is a node basically is a computer that runs the blockchain. Okay. Once again, the blockchain is every single Bitcoin transaction that has ever occurred. Okay, and the nodes, all of them, there are hundreds of thousands of them throughout the world. Okay, and basically it's a ledger. Just think of a big checkbook. Okay, everybody is running every single check that has ever been written out of this big checkbook. Okay, and they're all keeping copies of it. They all have copies. So if you're running a node, you're running a copy of every single Bitcoin transaction that's ever occurred since the beginning of time. Okay, now if you take that node, right, and you hook up a mining machine, right, and you basically introduce your mining directly to that node, your node, okay, then it's totally untraceable. Then there is no ISP attached to it, I don't think. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're a little
It's-
bit backwards.
You think
there,
I'm off?
but I think you're a
You
little
think-
bit
why do
off.
you- Why
So
do you think that?
a node is, yes, it's a record keeper of all the transactions on the blockchain, but a node can also function as a wallet. Like once you make a node, you can turn that into one of your wallets. And a node needs to be, so the way that the tech works is there's miners and there's nodes. Miners do the math equation to find out what's correct, and then they send it to the nodes. Enough nodes have to say, yep, checks out, let's keep going on this chain. And then they send it back to the miners. They say, hey, you did a great job, and then the next block happens. But if you're running your own, like when you make any transaction, it goes to a node, whether you have one or not. So whatever wallet you're using, a node is checking that. The benefit to having your own node is that you know that what you're doing is for sure on the blockchain. Whereas using a wallet, a phone wallet app, you're connecting probably to that phone wallet app's node, and they might have a bunch of them at their headquarters, and you're just looking for that node. But
Maybe I need to do because I was pretty sure
yeah,
that
nodes are
it doesn't
tricky.
because the use of the wallets and the use of exchanges, they leave an IP signature, which is how they find you, right? Like if they say, okay, we don't know who this guy is, but we're going to talk about Jeff for a second. We're going to say that this string of letters equals Jeff's Bitcoin activity, okay, because this is his wallet, right? The only
Which
way
they're
they
just
can track
speculating
you,
on.
right? I mean, for them, yeah, right. So right off the bat, they're already kind of blind, okay?
Yeah.
But once they decide that they need to target your Bitcoin, they have to figure out who you are, and that's when they go to exchanges or they go to like your wallet, right? They go to your transactions and they say, okay, well, he used this IP here, and so basically they kind of like they sort of isolate, and then obviously if you're doing all of your transactions from your home computer, well, that ISP is very accessible, and they know, okay, this is Jeff's computer, this is the one that's doing all the transactions for this particular wallet or whatever. So that's usually how they find you. So my point is, if this is how I understood it, maybe I am wrong, I don't know, but my understanding was if you have a node and you're uploading from the node, it's not tracking your ISP then. Like it's just putting your information into the blockchain.
Because
you see what I'm saying?
so the one thing that I've learned recently is that Bitcoin doesn't need the internet to interact with each other. It's using the tech information highways of the internet and the cords going around the world, but it's not actually on, like, you don't have to use the internet. You can just use the Bitcoin network. It's separate from the internet. So even if your ISP is tracking you, if you're using just the Bitcoin network, it's not using your ISP. It's just your Bitcoin network. So if you're on a node, if you have your own node, you're not connected to the internet, they can't follow you.
Right.
Yeah.
Long story short, for those who are early into this game right now, first of all, the IRS doesn't know what it's doing. You're safe right now because they don't know what they're doing, right? All these people, they all thought it was, I mean, hell, I was one of those people up until about 5 months ago. You just think this is just a fly-by-night flash in the pan, nonsense Ponzi scheme, whatever. Apply whatever sort of no-coiner bull crap you want to. That's fine. So they're already behind the curve, right? So like right now, basically, if you were to, let's say, buy a bunch of stuff, put it on cold storage, and lock it in a closet somewhere, no one would have any idea. It would be really hard for them to track that down, right? Provided you're not like giving them all your information right off the bat. But
Exactly.
So it's will that change? I don't know, man. I think a lot of people, a lot of power, again, kind of back to the beginning of the cast here tonight, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of incentive to ruin Bitcoin if they can. You see what I'm saying?
I do. Okay, so this will bring me to my second point of what if the government makes it illegal. and you're in the USA. You're American, right? So you probably haven't heard that there are other countries in the world.
No. What?
One of them
What?
is called India. There's another country called Iran. You might have heard of Iran before.
Oh, I've heard of India. That's where I get all my T-shirts from.
That's right. And then another country called Nigeria. What's interesting about these three countries is that they have all banned Bitcoin. It's already happened. They said Bitcoin is illegal. And in every instance, the only thing that happened to Bitcoin was that the value skyrocketed there. Nigeria is going. I hope it's Nigeria. It's an African country.
It is Nigeria. It is Nigeria.
It is Nigeria. They're going through a series of hyperinflation right now. Their currency is getting debased like insane amounts, and the people there are using Bitcoin because it's the only safe way to trade and interact with each other. And even though it is illegal, the government can't stop it. They like, for all the reasons we said before, they can't stop it. If me and you want to trade Bitcoin between each other, all we have to do is do it. The Bitcoin can't, or the government can't stop you.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. In Iran, they tried to stop it. I think they were the first ones to do it. And again, it went up, and now Iran is becoming. They retraced what they said, and now they're becoming one of the biggest mining countries in the world. Just saying, all right, well, we can't stop Bitcoin, so I guess if you can't beat them, join them.
Right. Okay.
And India is very recently, as of I think only a couple months ago, or maybe just a month ago, they also tried to ban it. India's going through a lot of shit right now. They're like taxing their farmers and cutting all the farmlands, and Bitcoin works really well for farmers because they can actually charge what they need to and get paid for it. And so they tried to make it illegal in India, and all that happened was the price kept going up. So what happens? The short answer is, what happens if the government makes it illegal? It continues, which is nice. So it's just like,
right.
They can't.
And
they can try. They can make it illegal.
Right, they can make it illegal and they can try. But like you said, the peer-to-peer functionality of Bitcoin is, again, we talk about what Satoshi was trying to cure at the outset. And that was one of the factors. How do we make a trustless system that will work peer-to-peer, right? Mm-hmm. So, and for those of you guys, because there might be some new listeners, maybe they're new coiners, or maybe they're on the fence, they're deciding if they want to be a no-coiner or a true champion.
Three-coiners.
Right. One of the things you have to think about is this idea of peer-to-peer transactions, right? So if Jeff and I want to, let's say I'm going to buy a car from Jeff, okay? Now, first of all, there's a whole bunch of nonsense that goes into buying a car now. You have to register and everything else, and obviously that's going to be a problem. So this example isn't perfect, but it's a big-ticket item, let's say, that isn't drugs, is what I was trying to go for there, okay? Mm-hmm. Jeff says, I want $10,000 for this car, okay? And I say, okay, cool, right? And we're going to do it in Bitcoin. If I tried to do that in gold, okay, I would have to get a bunch of gold, and I would have to physically travel up to Canada, or even worse, ship it up to Canada, okay, and give him his gold for the car, right? Bitcoin, I can just, boom, it's done. He has 10,000 worth of Bitcoin in his account, and it's over. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of practicality, in terms of peer-to-peer transaction, if I try to go across the border with $10,000 worth of gold in my trunk, that's not going to make it. Customs is going to take care of that real quick for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh man. You got to start questioning, why is that illegal? Why can't you just bring money where you want it? That's right. One of the main problems Bitcoin is solving too, which is nice. Right.
And can it be used for bad things? Can drug dealers transact, and do transactions anonymously? Yeah, they can. And you know what? They do it every day with fiat currency all over the world. Like right now, wait for it. Wait, listen. Did you hear that? That was the sound of two drug dealers transferring fiat currency back and forth. It happened right now, just as you were listening to this. It literally just happened. So it's happening anyway.
A lot of times.
A lot of times. Somebody was paying for something illicit with fiat currency. So that is a canard, my friends. That is an absolute... Don't let anybody tell you, oh, Bitcoin is just used for illegal transactions. So is every currency available. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a red herring. Don't even buy into that nonsense.
Yeah, and to further the drug talk, because we love drugs here, it also goes into what what happens if
You know,
the
I've never
government
done
makes it
drugs,
illegal.
right?
Really? Okay, that's interesting. You should probably try some. Let me know. I'll hook you up, bro.
I've gotten this far without them. I'm probably okay, but
Yeah,
yeah,
good.
no,
Have
I've
you
never,
ever,
I've
have you
never
ever
done
taken
drugs.
an Advil or Tylenol?
That's not what I mean, and you know it. That's not what you
Well, no,
mean
that's
either.
what I mean. No, but it is. Those are legal drugs. It's the same thing, right? So, weed was illegal up until a couple of years ago, and now it's legal. And well, at least in my country, it's legal, and it's an essential service.
I was
My
really just kind of
point-
sharing information among friends. I wasn't really making a political statement or anything, dude. I don't care.
That's fine. I think you should do
Okay.
some drugs. Listen, to bring it back to what if the government makes it illegal to have Bitcoin? What if the government makes it illegal to do drugs? What if we're talking about hard drugs like heroin or crack or whatever? They're still moving around. So it doesn't matter if it's illegal. Sometimes it's okay to do illegal things. I think that was an Elon Musk quote from a while back, like early days of Bitcoin. He said, sometimes it's okay to do illegal things. And I was like, oh, you can't just say that. But then you think about it, and you think about what kind of governments we've had in the past where things that were legal were very bad. I mean, it just comes to making choices for yourself, and not you can't always follow the rules. I'm going to use Bitcoin till the day I die, whether it's illegal or not. I don't care, because I'm very anti-government. I wish we didn't
Yes,
have
you are.
government at all, but it
Well,
would be
I'm
nice.
not. I'm not there with
Imagine
you
there's
quite
no
yet.
countries
Don't you?
and
Don't,
no
don't.
religion.
I'll
too.
swear. I'll swear. Don't do it. I have to
Imagine
edit
all the people
Now I have to fucking edit that out. Thank you so much.
living.
God damn.
Why
I
do you have
hate
to
that
edit
song so much. Oh my god.
That's one of my favorite. I was telling my wife about
No,
that song.
that
It's a
is
beautiful
such
song.
a hippy dippy crap song. Oh
Yes,
my god. Look
hippy
at
dippy is the way to live.
No, it's
it's-
not, dude.
This
No,
is why I
because there's
love-
no
this
personal
is why I love
responsibility. No. I don't
What
want
do
to
you
get into
mean?
it.
Okay.
No.
This is why Bitcoin's beautiful, because you can either love or hate John Lennon's Imagine, and you can still love Bitcoin. It doesn't
Oh my
matter where you
god,
are.
such a bullshit song. Anyways,
That's so sad,
anyways.
okay.
Look, now I was even going to make a really good point. Oh, we were talking about the idea of illegal versus legal. Okay,
Yes.
I'm a fairly conservative person. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Okay? I like stability. I like order, because I think that's the best way to build a society, right? That being said, if you start looking at some of the laws that exist and have existed throughout the years, you start to realize that a lot of these rules and laws and citations and all this other crap, they're not for your benefit. They're for the government's benefit.
There's
And
never
in my
been a law
view-
created for your benefit.
No, there is. Okay, look, drunk driving, okay, is a bad deal, right? Because if somebody gets drunk and smacks into me, I have no what I mean, right? There needs to be some sort of, I don't know. There needs to be.
Have you ever drank before?
Yes,
you're a drinker. Yeah, you're a drinker. Okay,
Yeah.
no.
absolutely. I'm not against drinking at all.
No,
What
was
I
just
am-
asking
what
'cause
I
you said
am
you never
for-
done drugs, so I was just curious.
What's that?
Just because you said you'd never done drugs, so I was like, has he never drank or done drugs? Because I know people like that. But you
no,
like
I
your
don't-
whiskey, right?
I do like my whiskey, and I like
Or
things.
scotch.
And honestly, as far as drugs are concerned, I initially, when I was younger, I was very much anti-drug, and I've known a lot of people who I think, you probably would benefit from not smoking pot because you're kind of dumb and you just seem dumber every time you do it. But that being said, I am fine. Honestly, here's my thing. Okay, here's my thing about drugs and about legalization. I'm just going to do this because you keep pulling at
Let's
that
talk
thread.
about it. Let's
Okay,
talk about
here's my thing. I honestly, if there was a politician that said, I want to legalize every drug, but at the same time, I want to make the penalties for when you screw up doing drugs to be super harsh, right? My point is, we have alcohol problems in this country, in my country, where we still have things like people getting drunk and smacking into people on the side of the road. Like, I just had this happen in my area here about 5 to 7 years ago. There was a woman, she was walking home, and a dude got drunk, like, I don't know, 10 o'clock or something, and he just weaved and he just flattened her, just killed her instantly, right? Now, in my world, in my perfect world, okay, that dude needs to be strung up by his thumbs. He killed someone due to his own negligence and stupidity, and therefore he should pay for that, okay? We can't even make that happen. So if you want to sit and...
He must have got some sort of coincidence. What?
No, no, not really. He got. I don't know. Well, first of all, he was an illegal, so I didn't want to. I mean, he got like 2 years in prison or something, maybe.
Wow, that's
right?
brutal.
So,
Okay.
so the point is we can't even like handle our business when it comes to alcohol, right? Like the Germans kind of got it locked down, right? If you're driving on the Autobahn and they catch you, you use your license. You're done. You never drive again. Bam. I like that. I don't care what you do. You're just not allowed to with other people. And I'm sorry, I swear.
Yeah.
Damn it, I got to edit that too.
You're
You're not allowed to screw with other people. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to do heroin, that's fine. But you guess what? If you are committing a robbery because you need to score heroin and somebody gets killed, or hell, even if you're... No, I'm sorry. If you're robbing someone to score heroin, you're done. Go to jail. Do not pass go. Throw away the key. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Do
Okay,
whatever you want.
I agree with that.
But the minute you screw with another person's life, that's when you have forfeited your rights permanently, in my view.
That's perfect. So I agree with you on all of that. That's good. So if you bring it back to Bitcoin, I can connect everything to Bitcoin. But basically, if you do heroin and you kill somebody or you rob a bank, you've hurt other people's lives. If me and you trade Bitcoin for a good or a service, even if it's illegal, we haven't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt people to use Bitcoin. It's just trading.
And
which is why, they can't make it illegal. I mean, they can make it illegal, but it's a stupid thing to make illegal. And if they do make it illegal, one, it keeps going. Two, it's only showing how terrifying that government is because they're trying to control their populace. And three, we don't need government.
Well, again, I think you and I can agree to disagree on that
we need consequences for people making mistakes, for sure, or doing
well, and somebody has to enforce that. A non-partial entity has to enforce that, right? Do we need as much government? It is. It absolutely. And you know what? This is why the founders of the United States, they argued for months on a constitution. They argued for years on the concept of government, right? This is not an easy question to answer. And nobody, but I just want to dial it back for 1 second. I just want to say, listen, for all the friends out there who are listening, okay? If you think that the government is your friend and they will handle your problems for you, Bitcoin is not going to be for you. Okay.
No. We can talk about this later in the show. That works out with our weekly top story.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But
so
I just need to say that this might not be the podcast for you because we look, I don't here's the thing. Here, you know what? Let me say it this way. All right? Honestly, I am a cranky old man. I just want to be left the hell alone. And so my worldview is structured on this concept of, I don't want to mess with you. I don't want to bother you. I don't want you to bother me. You know what I'm saying? And the rules that should be in place should just be those kind of rules, right? That's the way I view things. And that's why Bitcoin is awesome, because it is set up in a way where, you know what? If Jeff wants to buy some pot from me, right? And I know Jeff, or I've somehow made sure that I'm not selling it to a 6-year-old or something like that, then, fine. Who cares? Honestly, who cares, right? Now, beyond that, I don't know. There's caveats for every scenario, and you could hash it all out. But the point is, Bitcoin is the monetary extension of the libertarian, conservative, possibly anarchist ideal, which is People should be free to do whatever they want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. And this is the monetary implementation of that concept, which I like.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still like to think that it doesn't matter where you're aligned in your political views. Bitcoin can still work for you, even if you're a socialist communist. Bitcoin works fine because that just means you want the government to give you money, and then the government can give you Bitcoin. Like whatever, it doesn't matter what your views are. Bitcoin works.
I guess, but then the government can tell you
But
how
it's
much
better
Bitcoin
if
you can have. You know.
Yes, I mean that's the issue there. But if you want everybody to have the same amount and you want to live in a country that does that, it is still possible.
I guess I have no use for that, but go ahead. Where are we at? Sorry, we tangented so hard on that one. That was great.
That's good. I think we're doing good. So, what if the government bans it? LOL, they can't. I don't know if I proved that point, but I'll touch on that again in future episodes. But
I'm sure we'll touch it again.
In
And
short,
hopefully somebody has a comment in in one of the casts somewhere that they can shed some light or ask another question. You know what I mean? So.
Definitely look into if you wanna find more about this topic. Look into Nigeria, look into Iran, look into India, and it's already happening. That's my favorite thing about Bitcoin is any question you have, for the most part, has already been answered, which is pretty great.
That is well. It's had what 12 years to sort through
years.
this kind of stuff.
That's true.
What's that?
Yeah, 12,
so
it's been around for 12 years, so a lot's happened.
Bitcoin has been around for longer than some of my children. That's crazy.
The euro was 10 years old when Bitcoin became a thing. That's a stat that I learned. The euro was only, or maybe 20. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 20. Either way, it's not a lot. And then finding out that the US
that seems about right. That it's only 20 years
crazy.
old.
Yeah. So
Yep.
okay, it seems like a good chance right now to do a little price check.
Why Bitcoin presents your weekly price check.
And this price check, for the first time, is brought to you by... Actually, no, and this isn't actually an ad, but for anybody listening, if you'd like ad space, the price check ad slot is up for grabs. Contact us at askwhybitcoin. Wait, what is it?
AskWhyBitcoin at gmail.com or at AskWhyBitcoin_.
Right on. So I'm going to fill in the space here. Just not an ad, but a big fan of an app called Fold, where you can spin a wheel every day. You can get free sats, and you can buy a multitude of...
You know what? While we're doing
cards.
this, not an ad, guess what? Guess what it's time for me to do?
What is the time for?
It's time for me to spin my wheel.
Oh, so you did download Fold.
I did download Fold, yes.
Isn't it? You should get Lolly as well. Also, this is also brought to you by Lolly, but not actually brought to you by
But
Lolly.
not actually.
It's the same.
All right. I'm going to do my daily spin. Can I do my daily spin?
Yeah, do your daily spin. I'm going to look
All
up
right.
the price of Bitcoin in Canadian loonies. You're going to look up the price of Bitcoin
in the old U.S. dollars. All right, and I'm going to spin it. Does this come with sound? Do you think it actually makes noise?
I don't know.
I don't know. Hold on a second.
Okay, while he's spinning, guys, the current price of Bitcoin, Bull Bitcoin, is selling a single Bitcoin for is $69,527.63 Canadian. Will buy you one Bitcoin. And in American, what do you got in American?
Hold on. Okay. Yeah, no.
You're still spinning?
I could be there. I was, but I was so excited about it. All right. In U.S. currently...
You can be that excited about a spin, too, if you just download Fold. And you can use one of our, what is it called? Referral codes. Or
referral codes, which we'll put one down in the link. It'll be great. So right now, Bitcoin, damn. Bitcoin jumped today, bro.
Oh, you haven't seen it? I didn't know if you had seen it yet. Yeah.
No.
Been a fun day.
Currently, at this very second, which is Monday at 9:20 Central Time, Central U.S., $53,840.15.
53. Say it again.
53,840 and 35.
Oh, we're close to 54. 54 is a big number for me.
Yeah. Why is it a big number for you?
I bought some at 54 on the way down, and I've just
did you?
sitting waiting. Yeah, I've been sitting waiting to break even. Hodling on, but it'll be nice once it gets back there.
So hey, dude, using that Fold app, I just got 100 free sats on my daily spin. That's
nice.
right. Cha-ching.
Feels good, man. Feels good. Okay, guys, in the podcast, we're adding a new segment where me and Doug, Jeff and Doug, are going to make a price check guess for next week, and we're going to try and keep score and see who gets closer. I don't. Do you want to play Price is Right rules where you can't go over, or do we just want to go?
No, I
number
think closest to. And I think
closest to?
you should be allowed to do it in loonies, and I should be having to do it in U.S.
No, I want it to be in U.S. because loonies don't really matter. Like it'll
Oh,
be in
okay.
U.S.
Well, I mean, it won't be long till you can say that about U.S. But all right.
Yeah, but okay. Here, I want to say this too. Like, you guys need to understand. I am Canadian, but the U.S. dollar is the global currency of the world. If the U.S. dollar collapses, every other currency basically collapses, and that's why Bitcoin is priced in U.S. dollars originally. Not because a bunch of people are checking it in the States, which they are, but even when you're in India or Iran or any of these other countries, people check it in the price of the U.S. dollar because that's the go-to currency to rate certain things on, and that's true for gold and everything else you rate on, which gold has fallen a lot today too. But okay, so yeah, we'll make a guess in U.S. dollars. Okay, so who wants to go first? Because there's a problem here.
What's that?
Because the first person that goes, the person can either go lower or higher. So how do we make it so that it's fair?
All right, I'll tell you.
can-
Here's what we do. All right,
We go honor rolls and write it down.
you write it down, and then we'll read them. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're talking next Monday by the during the podcast, right?
Yes, when we do the price check again.
All right, I got it. I'm writing it down. Write my number now. And this is down to the penny, right?
And down to the penny.
Gotcha. All right, I'm ready. And I swear I haven't. I won't. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, I wrote it down as well. Here, I'll show it to the camera. Camera's not on, but that's
There's
fine.
no camera. We're not doing a live show.
Okay, so do you want to
go
say
ahead.
yours first? Okay, I'll say
Yeah,
mine.
that's
So
fine.
I went $65,943.26. I think we're going.
Ooh,
I think we're
damn,
going to
son.
60 and then cutting through 60 to the mid 60s.
All right, say that again because I was kind of talking over it. But say it again.
$65,943.26 U.S. dollars for one Bitcoin.
Okay. All right. I am not as optimistic as you are right now. And I said $56,897.40.
Dude, it's going to be a big week. I think I've already
Why?
done this one.
So why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Oh man, that's a whole. There's a lot going on. We'll make a show about how to understand why Bitcoin's going up later. But have you seen any of the stock to flow graphs?
No.
Do you know?
Maybe I have it. I just didn't know what they were called. But
Okay, stock to flow is important. We can talk about that next week. We going up though. We're going up. All right.
oh,
that-
I
so
think
that
we're
was-
going up. I just feel like there's going to be a slight pullback. There was
we're gonna
definitely some
chill?
resistance at at 57 last time. So I feel like that's going to be a thing where people are going to. This is my logic. Is that it's going to be a slow climb. I don't think it's going to be a parabolic climb, but I do think. I think by the end of April we're going to be looking at some big numbers, right? I think we might be touching the triple or what do you want to say, the six digits by end of April.
6 figures. Yeah.
But I think it's gonna. I think because that pullback was so big from the 57, that it's going to take some time for people to get stoked about it again. Right? There's a little people got their hands bit a little bit. I think so. Little gun shy, as it were. I just
Okay,
mixed
so-
metaphors there.
So my reasoning is that actually the pullback from 56 to 40, what was the lowest it went, 44 or whatever, was actually only 20%, which when you look back at past bull runs, usually it drops 30 to 40%. So that was the smallest dip in terms of percentage on a bull run that Bitcoin's been on, and we're on one right now. So that was the last top, and now we're going to go screaming up to a new top. It's just a matter
See,
of where the top
I also
goes.
feel like because of that pullback, there was a lot more FUD happening.
Oh, there's always fun.
I know, but I feel like the FUD was much louder this time, coming from sources I wasn't necessarily. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Well,
next
you
week.
also have to realize the FUD is more obvious to you if you haven't seen it before. Like, this has been going on for years and years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. We'll see. Let's
Okay.
see what happens.
We'll see. Now, I'd like to touch on our weekly top story, which isn't directly Bitcoin related, but everything is directly Bitcoin related. So, our weekly top story is the government of the United States of America recently passed their plans to print the $1.9 trillion stimulus to give everybody in your country $1,400 again, which is
Ridiculous!
wonderful, which is
Sorry.
great news for everybody, right? Yay!
Well, I'll tell you who it
this.
is great news for. It's great news for everybody that's hodling Bitcoin right now.
Yes, it is. Okay. Do you want to? Why don't you speak on it a little bit first, because it's your country. How do you feel about it?
Did I
Are
just
you
get made
excited?
the official ambassador of the United States to
I
buy
think you-
Bitcoin?
Yeah, you're the United States ambassador, and I'm the Canadian
Yeah.
ambassador of Bitcoin.
All right, let me just preface this by saying I love what America was founded on, not what it is. So here's the problem, kids, and this is
Great quote.
we're running into the same issue that we were running into under Trump. The people in charge, and honestly, no, that's not even fair. That's not. I know you're gonna hate to say this or hate to hear this, but it's not even fair to Trump. The people who have been in charge of this country since approximately 1971, just have not given a crap. They have this what is it called, neoclassical view of monetary policy, and they just think we're just going to keep printing and it'll be fine. Or worse, they think it's not going to be fine, but we don't care because we already got ours, right?
Well, they don't
So-
have any other choice.
Yeah, at this point, that's probably true. But here's the problem with this this new stimulus. First of all, it doesn't cure the actual problem. Okay, if the problem, as stated, is everyone is suffering because of the COVID lockdowns, then the cure for the COVID lockdowns is to stop the COVID lockdowns. It's not to just print $1,400 per person, because honestly, that's not going to cover anything. This country was locked down in April, I think, of last year. So we're coming up on 1 year of official lockdowns, maybe even early. We might have passed it even. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we got locked down
But
in
you've had an
March, so-
entire year of millions of people not working. And that is why we have a lagging economy. And $1,400 isn't going to cover anything. I mean, it's not going to cover a mortgage. Certainly not a year's worth of mortgages. You know, it's not going to cover anything. And on top of that, when you take 1.9 trillion with a T dollars, okay, and then you subtract out $1,400 per U.S. citizen, which I'm not even sure it even covers kids, actually. I think it just might be adults, because I've never seen anything in it that says, I have not seen any description of the bill that says it actually will go towards children as well, right? So there was a stimulus package in November of last year, I think, maybe, where even the kids got something. I mean, it went to the parents, obviously, but it was designated for the kids, right? I don't think this one does that. I've never seen that anywhere. So it's not even all 350, 330 million of us, right? It's just the adults in the room. That, if you subtract that number from 1.9 trillion, that's like, it's not even like $500 million. So it's like, where the hell is the rest of the trillions going? It's going to other countries. It's going to whatever. I don't know. Just pick up, literally throw a dart at some sort of, you know, what do they call those guys on K Street? The
K
those
Street.
K Street is the
I know a lot of Sesame Street.
not that street. No, K Street is where all the shit. What are they called? They're the guys that we hate them. They're the guys that like they.
Oh, the Ethereum guys?
No, we don't hate them.
I hate them.
No,
Who else do I hate?
they're the guys that like coerce I cannot think of the word right now. Oh my gosh, they
Okay, what do
coerce
they do?
politicians.
Wh-
They
Wall Street? Are you talking about Wall Street?
no, but they work for Wall Street. But they,
Okay.
oh my God, dude, they have a name, and
Okay,
they
what do they do? What do they do?
So basically, they wine and dine. They take politicians out to lunch, and they say, "Hey, you know what you really should do is you should write a bill that does this because my company that I work for, they would really like this to happen. And if you would like us to, put some more money into your reelection campaign, and/or would you like this Jaguar? You should totally do that." What the hell are they called? I'm dying right now.
Well, while you're thinking of that name, I just want to hit on what the stimulus actually is. Okay, first off. And this is the problem, and this is why I'm terrified for my country too, because we're printing money like maniacs as well. The money that they're giving you, don't be confused. Okay, so this is where I think people get confused. They think it's tax dollars that has been earned and that the government is holding, and then they're sharing it with people. That's not what's happening. Right. The money that is coming into existence is money that hasn't existed prior. They're changing a number on a keyboard. Like, let me put my tinfoil hat on. I don't care. This is what's happening. They're changing numbers on a keyboard. They're saying this is how much money there is now, and then they're putting that money in your bank account. What happens when that money goes in your bank account is that it's money that wasn't there before. Nobody earned it. Nobody worked for it. Nobody did anything for it. It's just a different number. And when that happens, inflation happens because people start buying things, and now you have this money, so you need to spend it, and everything gets more expensive. So by adding $1.9 trillion to the economy, all they're doing is making inflation go very, very high, and this is what's happening in Nigeria, and this is what's happening in all these other countries. The more money they print, the less valuable that money becomes. The more money they have to print in order to keep the civilians alive, because people need money. I mean, it's not money, it's currency. People need currency in order to buy things, but you can see it everywhere that when you're using this money, all of a sudden you got $1,900, but it costs you a hell of a lot more money to buy the things you need. So the more money they keep printing, the more money you need to buy more things. And they're at a point now where they need to, like, I won't be surprised if in less than six to 8 months they print another stimulus for, it'll have to be more than 1.9 trillion. 1.9 is also an interesting price because it's a 0.1 less than 2, and that I think is like, they're literally doing the thing where you go to the store and you see something costs $49.99.
I was just going to say it's advertising.
Yeah, it's this costs $49.99. That's not bad. That thing is $50. It's $50.
Right.
They made $2 trillion, $2 trillion, but they said it's 1.9 so that people don't get scared because they see the one first. Don't be confused. That's too much. It's too much money.
And I don't want to get too wonky, okay? But this, like you said, this wasn't money in our coffers. Okay, this wasn't like, okay, well, tax time is coming up and a lot of people have paid their taxes already, because April 15th is tax day. No, that's not what's happened. Okay, not only do we not have the money in the coffers, okay, we already owe interest on the money that's already out there from last year. This money is being borrowed at a time when this country, I think somebody needs to fact check this, I'm sure, but I'm pretty sure that every year the U.S. has to spend something in the number of like 2 to 7 trillion just to service their debt. That means $2 to $7 trillion of every U.S. dollar has to go and pay on the loans we've already taken, right? Because technically, because of the way the accounting has to work, even when we're printing money that we don't have by pushing the zeros, that still has to technically get paid for. That's the way the Constitution is written. And what ends up happening is the Fed, right? Well, the Fed, I can't remember the order of it, but I'm pretty sure I think the Fed buys bonds from the Treasury. Right?
Yeah. There's a couple different
and so that's how they justify it. That's how they get, quote unquote, the loan, right? Because they basically issue a bunch of bonds, the Fed buys it up and then gives them the money. But theoretically, they're supposed to pay interest on those bonds, those loans that they've been given in order to give out the 1.9 trillion. It's really convoluted. It's done on purpose so that normal guys like you and me can't figure it out, can't see how they're doing this shell game with non-existent money. And they're doing it. Here's my tinfoil hat moment. And I'm going to get really close to the mic because I'm really getting worked up here. The bottom line is this $1.9 trillion will not make anybody's life better, and it's not meant to. What this stimulus is meant to do is to make sure that people don't riot in the streets. What this is all about is keeping people docile and stupid and fat and happy. Because, oh, look, it's a shiny object. Look at the government just getting me a check for $1,400. They must be good guys. No, they're not. They don't like you. They don't care about you. They're literally just trying to placate you, to pacify you, like some sort of child in front of a TV screen with a bowl full of ice cream, right? And it's dripping down their face, and it's getting all on them and everything else, and it's nasty and gross. And as long as that shiny TV screen keeps playing the brightly colored lights, right, then we all assume that the child will not throw a temper tantrum, right? That's what this is. This is to keep you stupid, fat, and happy. And I'm not saying don't take the money. I'm not saying don't stand on principle.
Definitely take the money. You
take the money, but just understand what it is, okay? Mm-hmm. It is a bribe to keep you stupid, fat, and happy so that you don't revolt and knock over all the fences that are standing around the Capitol right now. That's what this is about. And at the same time, this is the worst part. They're feeding you this ice cream and brightly colored lights, but is devaluing everything. So the money that you have today, okay, when you go to work and let's say you make $10, they just printed off $2 trillion. I'm just going to call it $2 trillion. I'm not going to even give them the benefit of the doubt.
You're crazy. It's 1.9.
I know. And so so you go make $10 an hour or $15 an hour. What? It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter what you make.
The numbers
because
don't matter.
That money in your pocket will buy you less gas. It will buy you less food. Right? Mm-hmm. It's all a shell game that they're playing with money they don't have and money you can't afford. And if you think this is a good thing, then I'm going back to an earlier comment when I said, if you think the government is for you and cares about you, this is not the podcast for you. And I'm telling you right now, that's all this is. This is a pacifier. Think of this as a pacifier for a baby. Baby starts crying, starts making some noise. You stick that pacifier in the mouth. Okay, good. We've bought ourselves a couple of months. We've bought ourselves some time before the unwashed masses start making more noise. And like Jeff said, they'll probably, when that happens, they'll start printing off some more money. And you'll get devalued again. And hopefully at some point, people will go, no, we're done with this. And we get rid of these people. I don't know how it ends. I really don't. I just know that...
Stop using this money that they keep ruining you with.
That's really it. And that really goes back to our earlier conversation about why these people hate it so much, is because if you stop playing their game, if you start going around this system, the system collapses. It cannot function without you guys cashing those checks and going out and spending money and buying the big screen TVs. So do yourself a favor. Don't take this cash. Not financial advice, sorry. I know we shouldn't hit that 100 times, but take this cash and buy something valuable with it. Not, I need to clarify what value is. Value is an asset that returns profit to you, okay?
Or stores.
Or stores, I suppose, but technically by storing, it's returning a profit by becoming more valuable, right? Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm saying is don't go buy a car or put a down payment on a car. I mean, most people are. This is the dirty thing, right? They've screwed us so long on this deal, on locking us down for so long, that most people have to. They have to just go pay off their rent or buy groceries or whatever, and that is just wrong and sad. But if you don't have to, don't buy some Bitcoin or. I don't care. Jeff will tell you buy only Bitcoin. That's fine. I don't care. Buy some gold. Buy some silver. Get your friends together. I don't care what you do. Buy some land.
Gold's really
whatever.
cheap right now. Yeah, if you want to buy gold, it's super cheap right now.
Yeah,
buy some gold.
But gold holds value. You can't argue that gold doesn't hold its value. Yes, it does.
You must not have looked at the gold charts this week.
It has no. It has nothing to do. Well, first of all, gold is suppressed. This is a whole nother. We should do a whole nother topic on this.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I guess we could do an episode on inflation. Maybe we just do an episode on inflation and kind of leave this point here.
Okay, fair enough. But I guess I want to hit it again though, guys. This is not for your benefit. Please don't think it is. This is to keep you docile and stupid. That's what this is, and you need to recognize it as that. And then try to figure out how you're going to take this $1,400, and you're going to do something that gets you out of this cycle, right? I don't know what it is. That's up to you. Right, right. Figure out how you're
Can't
going to do
rely
that.
on somebody else.
Nope.
You can't rely on the government to keep you safe, because that's not what they're doing. And the point that I want to hit that I'm scared about in Canada is, yeah, they're printing money like crazy, and people are like, oh wow, you're doing such a great job. The government isn't helping you. This is your money. You're working towards it. They're taking out loans against the central banks, and then they're saying, don't worry, we'll pay you back. And they don't pay back by any means other than the taxpayers. That's how government makes money, by putting up
They
taxes.
don't even do
which
that anymore. They're taxing you in a hidden way, right? I said this to my pops this morning, and this is a really important factor that I hope people who are new to the space are listening right now. When my grandfather was growing up, right, he went over and he served his country and fought in World War II, right? He came back, he worked really hard, and he amassed what would be considered a small fortune, right? And his whole philosophy, I mean, he was the kind of guy, and I'm sure somewhere along the line you have some family member who has a story like this, right? You take dollar bills and you roll them up and you stick them into coffee cans and you go bury them in the backyard, okay? And for my grandfather's time, okay, for the 1930s to the 1950s, that was a viable option to live your life, because in theory, you would get to the end of your life, you could take those dollars wherever they were, in a bank, in a coffee can in the ground, and you could still have value in them, right? You basically save, right? That was the idea. You work hard, you save, you'll be fine, okay? What I'm telling you right now is that it physically cannot, monetarily cannot happen these days. You can work your entire life, you can save every penny of it, or every penny that's reasonable, right? It won't be enough to live, because they keep printing money and devaluing you. They're stealing it from you, is my point. They are stealing your money right out of your pocket. And this $2 trillion is just another theft. That's what you have to look at. Every time you see these big bills that Congress is passing, this, they're going to give, the schools, they're going to give them another $500 million. Yeah, that's money out of your savings. That's money out of your kids' savings, right? That's them stealing wealth from you. Stealing wealth from you. And I guess I'm just hitting it hard, Jeff, because I've just come to realize this kind of stuff. I didn't know this before.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
I think this is the thing, right? If you're listening to this, you're one of two people. You're either saying, yeah, these guys are obvious, like all of this is obvious, this is what's happening, or you're saying we're insane. It's one or the other. And if you're on the side that thinks we're crazy, do your own research. Figure out how the Federal Reserve works. Figure out how the central banks work. Understand taxes. Understand inflation, and then come back and be like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. But don't dismiss it. If you dismiss it, you're only hurting yourself. I think that's true. We can leave it there, right? Because that's my problem is, you either sound like a psycho or you sound like the smartest person in the room. Do you
remember when we first started talking about Bitcoin, and one of the first things you said to me was, listen, man, I'm not crazy. Like, you basically said that to me. And
it's
my
big
first
issue I have.
Right, and my first thought was, God, my friend, because you and I have known each other much longer than we've done the podcast, and my first thought was, oh man, this he's nuts. Like, this is crazy.
Lost it, He's
lost it. And then I start reading, and I start watching some video. Like, it doesn't take much. That's what kills me about this, right? It just, again, we talk about this idea of. We just talk about the idea of how, like, people don't like to think about money. They don't like to talk about it. It's like this taboo subject, and the goal of this podcast, right, that's the goal of this podcast, is to really try and just two guys talking, man. That's what this is. And we're hoping that you're hearing what we're saying. And if you think we're nuts, cool, tell us about it. Tell us why we're nuts. We'd love to read any articles, because honestly, we know we don't have all the answers. And we would love to have more dialogue, right? So leave a comment, whatever. But
let us know how crazy you think we are.
Yeah, tell us how crazy we are. We're not we're not babies. We can handle a little constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So If you don't like what we're saying, just tell us why we're wrong. Don't call us
Okay.
names. That's silly.
Now,
But
can we tell somebody else why they are wrong in terms of taking a old ball and just dunking on a no coiner? I think
dunk on a no coiner.
let's dunk on a no coiner. Okay, guys, in our Discord, I posted an article. My sister sent me this the morning of, I don't know, a couple days ago, and I
Just
just
break
read
your
it.
heart, by the way.
It didn't break my heart. I gritted my teeth. I was like, ugh. And then I responded back to her just by sending her like 12 links of things to read and watch and listen to. I'm like, here, this answers everything that this dumb girl is saying. So this person named Jessica Wildfire on an app called Get Connected says, here's how it really feels to own an entire Bitcoin. Hint,
I'm
it's
sure
awful.
her name is really Wildfire, by the way. I
Oh, it's
like that.
beautiful. So when I saw the hint, it's awful, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be good. So you'll see a few of the things people say that are bad about Bitcoin is one, it uses money or it uses energy, and I just want to nail this energy point home. This is all I care about. The idea that Bitcoin uses energy is a bad thing is the stupidest freaking thing I've ever heard. Everything that's ever happened in the universe ever since the Big Bang has been energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only gets transferred into another form of itself. That's just like a thing somebody said once.
That's like super
Bitcoin
smart,
uses
bro.
energy because it needs to do something, and they're turning the idea of energy being what's the word, fossil fuel powered, that everybody's scared of global warming and stuff. But the thing is, more and more Bitcoiners and more Bitcoin mining facilities are using clean energy, and they can do it in places where they don't even need to be close to a central hub of people. They can put these Bitcoin mines anywhere in the world where they can get all the energy from a frickin' waterfall or a giant solar farm. Bitcoin will take renewable energy and make it the energy of the future. The US dollar is powered by war and oil, and if you don't think that's using energy in a bad way, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Let's keep going
Okay,
with this.
She said, one morning around 6 or 7 a.m., I woke up to the dreadful news that my Bitcoin had plummeted about 12%. All you have to do is look up why Bitcoin goes up and down. It's the first asset in history to have volatility, I say that in air quotes, like this. If you look at the graphs of all time, you can see that this is just totally normal. But if you get scared by a little bit of that, then I don't care. Just don't buy Bitcoin if you don't understand the volatility. Buy
would you-
Bitcoin because you're...
What would you
because you're
buy that
terrified
doesn't
of
have
the
volatility?
Exactly. And the other thing is the US dollar or whatever your fiat currency has is volatile as AF, as the kids say, because it's just screaming downward. It's going so far down so fast, and Bitcoin's screaming upwards. So you either choose to have something that goes down slowly and then quickly all at once, or you choose to have something that goes up and down and up and up and up and up and down and up and up and up and up. So it's up to you. If you're looking to make profits on the US dollar, then you need to do more research, because why would you want to make profit on something that's going to be a dead technology in a matter of probably 10 years or less? You're not buying Bitcoin for... You're buying Bitcoin to never sell it, ever.
Well,
Understand
again,
why you're doing that.
I don't understand that phrase. That's silly. Okay,
Why don't you understand?
because you don't buy anything to never use it. That's dumb.
No, I didn't say not use it. You use it. You don't sell it back for fiat currency.
Okay. So, okay, I see what you're saying. All right, then. Okay, that makes
buy
more sense to me.
Bitcoin.
But the way
Yeah.
the way you're saying that, the way you're saying is you just buy and hodl forever. Like, that's not what you're doing. You would be using it to purchase
It becomes
goods
your
and
new
services.
Yeah, it becomes your new currency that you use.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing. So you asked me a while ago. I use my Bitcoin to pay my bills, my water bill and my electric bill, and you're like,
Right.
oh my god, why'd you do that? And I was like, well, I didn't have any other money. But I didn't have to sell the Bitcoin to get my Canadian dollars back and then pay my bills. I just put Bitcoin in, and then my bills were paid. You can do that as long as like we're still sort of early in the phase of how to use Bitcoin to buy goods and
Yes,
services.
I agree.
We're
I agree.
we're moving closer towards a place where it's more widely accepted. It's widely accepted if you put the work in and you figure out how to use it as such. But if you do buy it in hopes of making lots of money overnight, well then you're an idiot and I don't want you anyways.
No, 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 no. Don't be unfair. Don't be unfair.
If you're buying
if you're
Bitcoin
buying
because
this
you
as a
wanna-
if you're buying this as a speculative item, as a speculation, then that's fine. I don't care. But then don't turn around and write an entire article about how nerve-wracking it was to own it. You bought, by your own admission, a speculative product, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how can you turn around and say, well, it's a speculative thing and I knew that, but gosh, it was just so hard to deal with. Then guess what? Speculation is not for you. Don't ever buy anything in the stock market, okay? And don't buy Bitcoin, don't buy any coin of any kind. Just don't do anything don't even buy like a piece of modern art, right? Because that could go to zero tomorrow too. Don't write this kind of an article if you think, well, it's very speculative. Shut up. Just no. Ugh, my God, that's just ignorance. It's just annoying ignorance.
You can't be. You need to only buy enough of an investment. Doesn't matter what it is, Bitcoin included, that you can afford to lose. And once you do that, you're fine. I've come to the conclusion that I can afford to lose pretty much everything. so I put a fair amount of money into Bitcoin. But
well, I think I would take
I have
that
my
one step
reasoning.
further.
I have my reasons why to do that because I've done a hell of a lot of research and I understand
Right.
where it's going. So do your own research and get comfortable with your investments. And if you're not a risk taker and if you'd rather lose money slowly, then just don't invest, which is what most of us do for most of our lives. But if you want to start investing, learn what you're investing in and be comfortable in it.
Look at this. Look at this. She actually quotes Bill Gates.
Oh,
But
God.
like Bill Gates himself recently said, cryptocurrency is an innovation the world could do without. God, I hate that
Yeah.
Muppet so much.
Yeah, he's a
Oh, look at it. She's mentioning Janet Yellen. She's got like
she's
the greatest
she's
hits of
everything.
Dunk on a No Coiner in this article here. Good lord.
She basically, when I read this article, I was like, oh, this is just everything. Okay, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. Get back to me when you're done. And she's like, where do I start? I was like, just pick your choice. I don't care. Okay, whatever. Screw you, Jessica Wildfire.
Yeah, you got dunked on, girl.
Stupid.
You get dunked on.
Go use your money that doesn't use energy, you absolute idiot. Okay. I have a little fun game to close out the show. Are you ready for the fun
Oh
game?
man, I'm still worked up about this No Coiner, man. Come
Oh,
on.
take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Everything's gonna be okay.
All right.
No coiners will be what no coiner. There's two truths in life: death and no coiners. I like that. Okay, so today's game is called. I didn't think of a name for it. Okay, what's that number? I have a series of numbers. I didn't really know how to lay this one out. I think I'm gonna give you multiple choice.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'll give you I guess it's a category, and then you tell me what the number is. So as an example, I'll say, how many Bitcoin in total will there ever be, the total number? And the multiple choice would be 1, 21 million, or 2100 million. Well, how many
Okay.
Bitcoin? You would answer,
None of those, because about 4 to 5 million have been lost. So it's
No,
anywhere
but
between 15 or 16 million.
no, but I mean
Give me
total
extra
ever.
points.
Total ever, there will be 21 million, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
I'm being a smartass for smartass sakes.
That's okay. I have some smart ass questions in here that I don't think you'll have.
Oh, good,
Okay.
good, good. I like this.
Here's the. There's only 5 of them. So the market cap of gold. Let's see if you know. Do you know that without a multiple choice, or do you want multiple choice?
I would need a multiple choice, but I think I have
Okay.
a good idea of it.
Is the market cap of gold 15 trillion, 5 trillion, or 10 trillion?
I want to say 5 trillion.
The market cap of gold is $10 trillion, which is actually, I think it might have gone down today. And people are saying that once Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin has to reach, I I can't remember. It doesn't have to reach much. I think it's 500,000, and then it beats market cap of gold. But
Do you want a fun?
it's
Do you want
10 trillion.
a fun fact about gold that I just learned this week? If you
Yes.
took all the gold that has ever been mined since the beginning of mining gold,
Oh,
and you liquefied all of it, it would only fill 3 Olympic swimming pools. That's
yeah,
it.
I heard 2. Yeah, 2 or 3.
No,
It's pretty
I've
wild.
read 3. So
Yeah, which is
and
pretty
that
crazy.
so what we're saying is 3 Olympic swimming pools filled with gold is only worth $10 trillion.
That's right.
Okay, 3 Olympic swimming pools is only worth $10 trillion, and last year alone, the U.S. government printed $9 trillion. Okay, this is going to work out just fine, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it, Congress. You're doing a great job.
Be very afraid of money printing. Oh my god, it's so scary. Okay, I have the next question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's talk sats. This will be a question of your math facts. How many
Okay.
sats total, assuming there's 21 million Bitcoin, not your silly numbers, is there 2.1 octillion, 2.1 quadrillion, or 2.1 quadrillion? How many
I'm going to go
sats?
with the one you couldn't pronounce.
Nah, it's 2.1 quadrillion. Do you know how many
Quad?
Yeah, 2.1 quadrillion. A
Well, there's
quadrillion is
So, wait, a sat is 1/100th million?
a sat is there's 100 million sats in a Bitcoin.
Right. So I said
there's
that right.
21
100th million is a sat.
Yes.
Okay.
I know, I've tried to figure this out too. So
Yeah.
basically you times 100 million times 21 million, you get quadrillion.
Is it okay?
1
That's a lot.
quadrillion.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Here's my question. I didn't know how to phrase this, but I guess I'll just give you the story. So there's a dude on Twitter by the name of American Hodl. This guy is great content. You should follow him. And
Okay.
he is quoted as saying, I have this many Bitcoin, and it's all the Bitcoin I'll ever need. And what's interesting about it is this was quoted, I think he said it like 2 or 3 years ago, and everybody laughed at him. And now that number is pretty interesting. Did he say you need 0.1 Bitcoin, 6.15 Bitcoin, or 100 Bitcoin for all the
Actually,
Bitcoin
I
you'll ever
just
need?
read an article about this today. It's 0.1 Bitcoin.
You're wrong. American Hodl says 6.15. It's very funny. I actually said 0.1. I said 0.1 is the new 6.15.
I literally just read an article that went through, in terms of market capitalization and everything else, why 0.1 Bitcoin will be enough for you to be very well off in your
your life.
as a retirement or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Nice, yeah. So this American Hodl, it's kind of a meme in the community. This
so
6.15.
that means he's suggesting, like, if Bitcoin goes to 1 million, he's saying he could only survive if he has $6.5 million worth of Bitcoin.
No, you need to
That's-
understand is he was flexing a couple years back saying I got 6.15, that's all I'll ever need, and that was worth a couple years back it was worth, maybe $10,000-$20,000, which again is a lot of money,
It is
but
a lot of
not
money.
enough to be like, I got 6.15, I'm killing the game. Now 6.15 is what? It's $300,000, and in a year or two's time, the 6.15 for anybody jumping in now is. What's going on here? Is there?
I'm sorry, I was sneezing. We'll edit that out. Start again.
Okay. I didn't know if you were saying something.
I have no mute button. I need a cough button. I don't have a cough button. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. I didn't get the joke because I thought maybe you were saying bullshit in. the
No,
sneeze.
I literally was sneezing.
Okay, you sneezed by saying bullshit because you. Don't edit it out. You literally said bullshit.
Did I? No, that's just
Bullshit.
how I sneeze, man. I swear to God, that's just how I
I
sneeze.
don't know if I'm getting pranked now or not.
Well, you go ahead and you listen to episode 7 after you listen to episode 6, and then we'll see if I was saying that.
Okay. Question number 3. We got to.
I got none right so far, right? I'm 0 for 3 right now, right?
And this is a bit tricky because I actually checked it at the beginning of the show. So as of about 9 p.m. EST, how many ounces of gold would you need to buy 1 Bitcoin? Would you need
Oof.
20 ounces of gold? 10 ounces of
Okay.
gold? or 30 ounces of gold?
Let me do some quick math here. You would need. I would say I'll say 30 ounces of gold.
Yeah, it was 30. I was gonna do it like tight on, but yeah, it's 31.010 as of the beginning of the show, ounces of gold that you need for 1 Bitcoin, which is very fun if you listen to anybody that loves gold. They're just like, gold is awesome, and now it's like you need a whole lot of gold to buy 1 Bitcoin.
I still advocate for across the board, man. I don't advocate putting all your eggs in any basket, man, because you never know.
You got to be very careful if you're buying gold right now.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because it's already started happening that Bitcoin is taking the... So gold is useful for 3 reasons. 1, a store of value. 2, computer parts. 3, making jewelry. And the people that are using it as a store of value that don't care about its computer parts or jewelry have found that Bitcoin is a better store of value and are moving their money from gold into Bitcoin. That is happening right now, and gold is plummeting along with everything else in the stock market this week. It's
Do you honestly think that gold will ever just go away? We'll get to the point where somebody will have gold and they'll be like, nah, I don't want that.
No, I think people will be excited to have it, but I think it won't be worth nearly as much as it was. Like I think in the future, we'll be able to. Well, I mean, this is for sure. If you buy gold with Bitcoin, you'll be able to buy like a kilogram of gold and just be like, "Hey, this is cool," and like people will like it because it's a shiny rock. But it'll be more of a.
I don't think its value is ever going to go. First of all, as you just mentioned, gold has a value. You know what? This is another episode. I'm sorry. I'll move on.
Yeah. We'll leave that alone. Alone. Okay, that's it. I only had one. I tried to fill the space.
I got 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 4.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oof, that's my worst outing yet.
That was a sticky game, though. I thought I would find a few more good numbers. I had all week. I was thinking about good questions, and then I didn't write them down. I'm trying to write stuff down more often.
And hey, dear listener, if you have an idea for a game, please go ahead and email us at askwhybitcoin@gmail.com or message us at @whybitcoin_ on Twitter.
And with that, or leave your comments down under in the description of the YouTube video, or if you're watching on Spotify or any other podcast listening service that doesn't have comments, you can join our Discord server and chat at us there. And with that,
love to hear from you guys.
And thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate you. It's been another great episode, and we'll be back next week with some more rambling about something or something else.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.